Warm greetings from the high 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans. Thank you all for joining me. Yes, it is warm in the high 10. Friday. Yes, the weekend. Hope you all are well, cool, hydrated. Have plans for this weekend. Be safe wherever you are, whatever you have plans, wherever you plan to go, whether it be at home or out and about. Please stay safe. I have an update to a story I brought you guys 2 years ago pertaining to a Chantae Monique Armstrong. She's an African American female out of Knoxville, Tennessee. She alleges she forgot about her baby. Hello, darling. Left him in a car, dropped off her first child in elementary school, forgot to take the baby to daycare before dropping off the older child. So she left the baby in the car, allegedly forgot about him. Went on to her job in West Knoxville, went to that said car that afternoon. Baby's dead inside, but yet she doesn't see him. Goes to pick up the other child from school, migrates to the grocery store not too far from the child's elementary school, and allegedly her child noticed the other baby in the back seat. But then we get wind that a bystander, spectator, says she went in the grocery store and came out with groceries, then called 911. What is the truth? Is the bystander lying on this lady? Why would the bystander lie? He or she doesn't have a dog in the race. They don't know you. And then naturally, if you do have groceries with you, how are you going to explain that you called 911 first, but yet you have groceries on your persons? Or did you call 911 and then went in the grocery store, bought groceries, and came out and waited on the police? My. The webs we tell, the lies we spin, it's all the same. WATE6 is the source. Knoxville mother of infant who died has motion hearing continued to September. Chantae Monique Armstrong, the mother of the infant who died in a hot car parked at a Food City parking lot in August of 2019, will reappear in court September 2nd after her court date was continued Thursday. Armstrong, who was indicted in October 2019 for first-degree murder, felony murder, and aggravated child neglect, appeared in Division 3 of Knox County Criminal Court for a motion to suppress hearing. She is requested to exclude certain evidence from trial. Now, this was back then, 2019, when she appeared in court. She wants certain evidence excluded. I don't know who this heifer thinks she is, but I'm going to tell you what the evidence is that she doesn't want to be revealed in court. Armstrong, also known as Chantae Cabrera, was awaiting trial last year as her case made its way through the legal process, and a judge said late last year he will allow jurors to see some photos of the 6-month-old boy. The infant boy had been left in Armstrong's car while she went to work on August 9th, 2019. When police found the child in the car, he was pronounced dead at the scene. The Knox County Medical Examiner's Office ruled the cause of death as hypothermia or abnormally high body temperature. The outside temperature was 93 degrees when the child died. Investigators recorded a temperature of 100 degrees in the car after the car doors had been open for a while, according to the medical examiner's report. Investigators said Armstrong told them she thought she had dropped off the baby at daycare after dropping off her oldest daughter on her way to work. This story has been updated. This is by WATE News 6 if you need verification for the story live. Chantae Monique Armstrong is accused of first-degree murder, felony murder, and aggravated child neglect in Division 3 Knox County Criminal Court pertaining to the death of her baby. That's the said information. I'm going to bring you another source pertaining to this heifer because I think she thinks we're stupid. Because when I read the original story, it did not sound right to me that you would have 2 children in your car and you would forget to drop off your baby, which you always drop the baby off at daycare first and then took your girl child to elementary school after dropping off the said baby. But you know how that goes. Always something. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Okay, here's an older article pertaining to this child's death. WBIR is the source. Thank you all so much for joining me. This content was uploaded last year, November 13th, 2020. Hot car death. Judge will allow jury to see some photos in infant's case. Will block others. A Knox County criminal court judge said Friday he'll allow jurors to see some photos of the 6-month-old boy found dead in a hot car in August 2019, but will bar introduction of other images from an autopsy. Prosecutors and defense attorneys sparred over the use of the pictures during a hearing before Judge Scott Green. Chantae Cabrera, the child's mother, is charged with murder. Her infant was left for hours in her car while she was at work, police said. By the time she discovered him while at a Clinton Highway grocery store after work, it was too late. The high temperature that day was over 90 degrees. Green said jurors should be able to see photos from the scene as part of the police investigation against Cabrera. But there's no need for jurors to see images of the child taken during the autopsy, he said. A trial date hasn't been set in the case. Lawyers are still arguing over the seizure of Cabrera's cell phone after the child was found. They'll return to court January 8th. Now, mind you, this is an older article from last year. So that time has came and gone January 8th this year. The state has charged Cabrera with murder. The defense says it was an accident. Cabrera is free on bond. Okay. Chantae Armstrong, also known as Chantae Cabrera, faces first-degree murder, felony murder, and aggravated child neglect, as I stated. According to search warrant documents, Armstrong's older daughter found her infant son in the backseat of the car outside a North Knoxville grocery store in 2019. Armstrong told investigators she thought she dropped her young son off at daycare. According to court documents, Armstrong's hearing Friday is a motion to suppress, which means she's making a request to exclude certain evidence from the trial. Earlier this year, our 10 Investigates team found a report from the Department of Children's Services. It shows Armstrong threatened to kill the 6-month-old for months. And in her text messages, she talks about how she couldn't handle it anymore. Armstrong's public defenders declined to comment. Now, mind you, this was an older article. Okay, I'm going to pull up something else because they've got more articles in this queue here pertaining to the death of this child and the mother. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Thank you so much. Let me see if I can pull up something else here. Hold on one second. I don't know if it'll pull up or not. Hold on one second. This was uploaded June 8th of 2020 pertaining to this case. Channel 10 News is the source, WBIR. DCS Records. Mother sent text threatening to hurt herself. Child in months before he was found dead in hot car. Chantae Armstrong, 30, also told investigators after the child was found dead that she'd been diagnosed with postpartum depression. And mind you, this is a year-old article. The Knoxville mother accused in the 2019 hot car death of her 6-month-old boy had sent text messages in months before to the child's father threatening to kill him, the child and herself, because she couldn't handle it anymore, state records state. Chantae Armstrong, 30, had told investigators after the child was found dead that she'd been diagnosed with postpartum depression for which she'd been prescribed medication, a redacted Tennessee Department of Children's Services report states. Now that's interesting, that she was allegedly diagnosed with postpartum depression for which she was prescribed medication, but it also says in this a redacted Tennessee Department of Children's Services report. So I wonder why it was redacted. Very interesting. Armstrong, also known as Chantae Cabrera, is awaiting trial at Knox County Criminal Court on charges of first-degree murder, aggravated child neglect. Trial is set for July, although the defense is challenging state's evidence in the case. Okay. Her attorneys with the Knox County Public Defender's Office said Monday they were unable for office policy to comment. Armstrong left her 6-month-old child strapped in her car seat in the back of a Nissan on August 9, 2019, police alleged. She told police she forgot to take him to daycare that morning. You will see a photo of a scene outside of Food City off of Clinton Highway where you have police cars and people standing outside, investigators pertaining to this incident. And somebody standing with their car door open. I don't know if that's the female with her back to the camera. Could be. Can't say. After dropping off her 9-year-old daughter at school that morning, she went to her receptionist job at a West Knoxville clinic. She ate a lunch that she brought with her to work, according to DCS records. After 2 p.m. that day, she left work, retrieved her daughter, and went to the Food City grocery store on Clinton Highway. She was going over a grocery list when she saw the boy's feet in the back seat and realized he'd been sitting in the car all along. Lord have mercy. Come on now. Armstrong called 911. Temperatures hit the 90s that Friday. The child died of hypothermia. An autopsy showed his skin bore evidence of blistering, according to records. Armstrong told investigators she had forgotten the boy was in the back seat, according to redacted DCS records show posted online from the agency investigation. She blamed herself and described it as an accident. I don't know how I did it, she told DCS personnel. She said she recently missed some work and that her schedule had been irregular. Her daughter had been visiting with her father out of the area until Knox County schools started, and after school care hadn't yet started for the girl that week, records state. The mother said after the boy's birth that she was diagnosed as having postpartum depression, for which she taken 2 kinds of medication. She stopped taking one, though, because it made her feel sick, DCS records state. A Knox County grand jury indicted Armstrong in October on the murder charge, though, she is free on bond. Months after the boy's death, as part of its review, DCS investigators spoke with Knox County prosecutors. Oh, mercy. According to DCS records, in which Armstrong's name is redacted, authorities reviewed data on her phone. She refused to give it to them for a forensic review after the infant died. The messages showed her threats of killing the minor child when he was around 1 month until his death. Mr. Such and Such Redacted reported that the text messages were between Miss Redacted and the child's father. Redacted, Miss Redacted messages were disturbing, talking about killing the child because she couldn't handle it anymore. She made threats to kill Mr. Redacted, the child and herself, according to the DCS report. Also, records state on the afternoon of August 9th after leaving work, Armstrong placed her purse and lunchbox in the back seat where the baby was in the car seat on top of the child's baby bag. The boy's father was in another state on a construction job at the time his son died, according to records. That is the said information by WBIR 10 News. Let me reread this one statement. The records state on August 9th, after leaving work, Armstrong placed her purse and lunchbox in the back seat where the baby was in the car seat on top of the child's baby bag. This makes no sense, and I always said this when I first saw the story. So now you want me re-listening to this information again. You got in your car after 2 o'clock. Baby's still in the car from that morning. You drove from North Knoxville all the way to West Knoxville with a baby possibly asleep. Hell, for all I know, she could have killed the baby before she went into work. Who's to say? We're not going to know until they reveal the autopsies. Thank you, Joe, for the super chat. Thank you. Amen. You drove all the way from North Knoxville, dropping off child A to your job. You got in your car after 2. Your child was dead in there 9 times out of 10. He was dead. You put your purse and lunch bag back there with a dead baby. You put your belongings on top of his baby bag. At some point, you still want me to believe you didn't notice the baby bag and the baby were in the back seat? You want me in my sane mind? Because it's not like you just took your bag once you got in the car and threw it in the back seat, threw it in the floor without looking, and then turned the ignition and drove down the highway. Hello, thank you all for joining me. Have a great weekend too, sweetheart. This is atrocious. You already depressed, upset, mad, whatever the hell is going on in your life. And by no means do I knock postpartum, because it is a very serious disorder. But you should have been seeking help, because when you were sending text messages about harming yourself and the child, you needed help. And what I find interesting is you didn't threaten to kill your little girl. Why not? You just want to kill yourself and the baby. So who was going to watch your child had you killed yourself and your child, your newborn? Stay woke. Always listen to the details. You're psychotic. Something's going on with you. You have a mental disorder, but you don't threaten the 9-year-old, just yourself and the baby. Is it possible she was having problems with the baby daddy, besides having postpartum as well? I don't know. Maybe he didn't want her, didn't work out. Now she's stuck with this kid plus a 9-year-old. Things are heavy, hectic. But yet you only threaten to kill yourself and baby boy. It just so happened, months before you sent these threatening text messages to the baby daddy, your child is left in a hot car, and you want somebody in their sane mind to believe you never noticed your child in the back seat. Because I'm looking at it like this. You are already having issues mentally. And now your baby is left in this car. And you now want to say the schedules were irregular, child schedules was irregular, the little girl's schedule, this and that and this. But you didn't leave her in the hot car. You made sure she went to school. But you forgot about that baby, the one who you're having some type of mental issues with. Yes, it is BS. Because if you were so mental, none of the children would have made it to school. If that's the case, you could have just stayed in the house, stayed in the bed, stayed under the covers, said the hell with it. You don't want your text messages shown naturally. And obviously you don't want photos of the child. Well, I do agree. Autopsy photos aren't necessary, I don't think. Just the pictures of what the child looked like in the car will be of relevance so people can get an idea of what the child looked like. Naturally, nobody wants to see pictures of a dead baby, but this is what they do in court. They show pictures of a dead person. But you obviously have issues, Chantae, and you should have got a counselor to work out your problems. Because the sad part is you had 2 children, but you only killed one. Hello, Rosemary. Thank you so much. You only killed 1 kid. So what are we to believe? That you could differentiate between the children to murder? Life is hectic. Wouldn't it also be hectic with the 9-year-old too? Child is a child. It's hard work regardless. 1 child, 2 children. 2 children, extra work. I don't know if he was a good father. I don't know if he helped with the kids. I don't know if you two were living together, not living together. I don't know if he lived in the town with himself or somebody else. I understood at the time, I thought he lived in Chattanooga. So I don't know if you two, how you two were dating, not dating, on and off, whatever your situation was at the time. Nonetheless, why should the baby suffer consequences? But that never makes sense either, sweetheart, about her. How's the baby going to find the other baby? The baby's in the car with you, along with the dead baby. So there's no such thing as the 9-year-old found the child. Both of you were in the car. You're driving, she's the passenger. The moral of the story is you're the first one to get out of the car at the end of the morning, shutting the door on a baby, alive or dead. You get back in that car after 2 o'clock, which means you can't tell me you didn't see the baby and they're dead. You drove all the way from West Knoxville to North Knoxville to pick up your child from school. Still, the baby's dead in the car. Then you drive a couple blocks over to Clinton Highway to go to the grocery store, Food City. Baby's still dead. Then you tell us that your child noticed the baby in the back seat. You think I'm a fool. And you obviously think law enforcement, that they are fools, but they are not, because they know better. And I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, she possibly worked for my former dermatologist. I'm not really for sure, don't quote me on that. But when that article first came about, I had a feeling at that time that she worked for this doctor who I patronized many moons ago. I could be wrong, but for some reason I thought she worked for him. And they let her keep her job. If this is indeed my same dermatologist, why? You saw the charge. Once you saw the charge, the original charge, because naturally it takes a while before they put a charge on paper, you would still let a person work for you? You must have been a really nice lady for the doctor to say, I'm going to let you keep your job because they were kind enough to let you get a bond. That's a whole separate entity. Now your job says, well, we like her. We're going to let her keep her job, even though she's out on bond for killing a damn kid. So here's a mother, bio donor, out on bond, holding on to a 9-year-old. Let's not forget about that. She's somebody else's mother with postpartum depression, allegedly, medicated, allegedly, not taking one of the medicines, allegedly, threatened to kill herself and the infant, allegedly. And you're also holding court on a 9-year-old. You see, you shouldn't even have the 9-year-old. And to this day, I do not know if the state let you keep the 9-year-old, because I have not got information if she still has custody of the 9-year-old. But there's information I just brought you that the courts, DCS, whatever, have information about you threatening your child previously. Let me go back up here. So naturally, the state of Tennessee got involved in this case. Let's see. She refused to give them her phone for forensic review after the infant died. So she didn't want to give her phone over to the police, naturally, because she knew what was on her cell phone. She'd been talking junk on her phone. Very strange. She had been missing work. Her schedule had been irregular. Her daughter had been visiting with her father out of the area until Knox County Schools started, and after school care hadn't yet started for the girl that week, records state. Very strange. I'm just trying to piece it all together. Well, then that means you've had your child with you more in the months that your girl child was gone. If you say, I missed some work, schedule irregular, daughter had been visiting with the father out of town, so they'll say how long the little girl was gone, and after school care hadn't yet started for the girl that week. Well, that means you had your baby more or less while your daughter was gone. So how could you forget about the child who you'd been dealing with the most while your daughter was visiting her father? Now I have to ask myself, do these children have the same father? I do not know. Very, very sickening. The children each went to separate places, sweetheart. The child was supposed to allegedly go to daycare, and the daughter went to school. She was supposed to be dropping off each child at a different location. She's alleging she forgot to drop off the child at daycare, the 6-month-old. But she took the 9-year-old to school first and treaded on to work with the baby in tow in the back seat, allegedly forgetting about the baby. And as I state, I don't have any information to the whereabouts of the 9-year-old. I don't know if the state is letting her keep that child or not, or if they took that child. There's no information in this article or older article that the child was removed, the 9-year-old, so I don't know. But my thing is, I can't see them letting her keep her 9-year-old if they saw evidence on the phone that she was threatening to kill herself and kill the 6-month-old months before, and then lo and behold, months later, here's a 6-month-old. He's the one dead in the car, not the 9-year-old. So I could see the state saying, we can't leave the 9-year-old in her custody because we now have evidence to the contrary on her phone that she was suicidal and homicidal. I remember I brought up something else about the state of Tennessee. Because here it shows. She sent messages in the months before to the child's father, threatening to kill him. the child and herself because she couldn't handle it anymore. And she told the people, the investigators, she was diagnosed with postpartum, for which she'd been prescribed medication. A redacted Tennessee Department of Children's Services report states. So redacted, I guess, I had to think about what it meant. They redacted names out as to protect the people in the investigation. She's charged with first-degree murder and aggravated child neglect. The court date's been moved up to September 2nd. I brought you source of 10 News. That was information that was uploaded from last year. That this article was basically just telling you she had been threatening herself and the child, information they found on her phone. And that's the information I believe she doesn't want admitted in court. And the lawyer doesn't want autopsy pictures revealed of the child. And as I stated, I don't see the need of having autopsy pictures revealed. Perhaps just the pictures of what the child looked like after death. But they will wrangle with that, I'm sure. We will see what happens September 2nd pertaining to this case. Yes, it is very, very sad. And I know people make mistakes. People rush and you forget things. You forget things when you're running out the house. You forget a lunch bag, a diaper bag. You forget something, but not the whole child. And we see this often with people, men and women both, leaving their infant child, children, toddlers in the car. Even sometimes they're leaving older children to stay in the car because they don't want to take the child in with them and fool with them. But that's why you go find a babysitter. You want to shop. You know your children are going to want to be running all over the place, getting into things. Then hire a sitter for a few hours and shop alone. Because it is easier to shop by yourself than having children in tow. I mean, I have seen many women in the stores, 4 or 5 kids in the grocery store, Target, Walmart. That's a lot. It's a whole lot. I don't ever recommend taking a child to the grocery store anyway. That's a bad thing. You never get to where you're trying to go because naturally they're going to be picking up things, grabbing things. That's common sense. They're children. But this excuse of leaving children in the car, I've been noticing this trend for the past couple of years. And I believe this is just a way for people to get rid of their children, knock off their children, to say, hey, I was rushing, I had stuff on my mind, I was upset, I was depressed, blah, blah, blah. I left my kid in the car. And there have been people who have not faced charges. And as I told Nancy last night, I had a commenter jump on my channel probably 2 years or so ago, upset with me because I said something about a man who left his child in a hot car in Alabama. I believe he was from Alabama. He worked at a car dealer. I told this lady directly, don't you ever tell me what I don't know. Because if you really knew your friend, he would have never left that damn baby in the car. So don't get on my channel telling me in the comment section, you don't know him. He's a great guy. Well, he ain't a great guy because now he got a dead kid. So how the hell is he great? And I'm going to lay that situation out for you, and then I'm going to check on out of here. A man takes his child to a restaurant to eat breakfast every morning before taking them to daycare. On this one morning, they go eat. He goes back to the car, drops the baby off in the car, proceeds to work at the car dealer. He gets out of his car at the car dealer, not taking the child to daycare. The wife calls him that morning to say, hey, are you going to take the baby to daycare? Because the daycare called to say, where is boy Doe? So this is where it gets grainy, suspicious. What did he say to his wife when she called? To say the daycare called, asking was baby boy coming to daycare? I'll wait. Thank you, Emily. What did you say, sir, when your wife called and said, hey, where's our baby? The daycare said he didn't show up. Are you bringing him? Are you late? Are you stranded? Is he sick? What did he say? Because this is where the story makes no sense. Your wife calls you to say the daycare called to say the baby did not show up. Is he coming? But yet the articles never told us what he told his wife. So now we have to ask ourselves, why the hell he didn't go to the car and rush to get the baby out, realizing, damn, I left my baby in the car. But he didn't. Oh no, he still stayed at that job knowing that baby was in the back seat after his wife just called and didn't go back out to the car until lunchtime and then called 911. Stay woke. Now, does that sound like somebody that's made a mistake, accident? And the wife should have known what time it was, whatever answer he gave. And then did you not call the daycare back to say, hey, did my baby arrive? Did he bring my baby yet? What did you do, ma'am? I blame you too. I blame you too. Because at some point, you had to call the daycare to see if your child arrived. Oh my goodness. Angela forgot to tell you. Daddy had been a nosy, nasty little something. He had been sexting an underage girl, if I'm not mistaken. My. Hello, everybody. So besides you being a baby killer, you like little girls. Paw. Oh, yes, I saved the best for last. He had been sexting a girl underage, asking her to expose herself in photographs to him via text messaging. So see, Daddy had other things on him mind. Hell yeah, he forgot about that, baby. Because he forgot about his wife, too. Shut up, Queen. Him been bad. Him need a spanking. So him like underage girls. You see, you don't know people. So that's why when that commenter jumped on my channel talking that junk, it didn't even faze me. Because I know the truth about man. He is flawed. And he has secrets. And at that time, it hadn't came out about the sexting to the underage girl. But lo and behold, I bet you that crazy witch that jumped in my comment box thought to herself when them rumors came out about the sexting, she couldn't do nothing about her head to think. I was all up on that woman's channel talking crazy to her about a man I thought I knew. And he's been trying to mess around with a child and just murdered his own child. Stay woke. That's why it's best to stay in your lane, because you don't know people. And this is why I, the queen, never go to bat for anybody in a case pertaining to a child, because you don't know people. And as you see, people were probably rallying for him saying he made a mistake, but little did they know he's been secretly texting an underage girl, trying to coerce her to send him naked photographs of her body. And if I'm not mistaken, he may have been doing some other deviant behavior with other gals. But the point is, you didn't know him. So that's why when I speak of true crime on my channel, I don't defend the bio parents, caretakers, because I don't know them. And possibly they are involved in, as we've seen, a missing child, harmed child, deceased child. This is why you just watch everything, listen to everything, and see how it unfolds. And I think you know where I'm going with this due to the fact of what I talk about out of Rogersville, Tennessee. You don't know people. You don't know people. Prayers for this baby boy. Prayers that we get justice for him, because he was a beautiful baby. I told Nancy that last night. You see the pictures of this baby boy. Lord, have mercy. He was gorgeous. I said he would have been a head turner had he lived, but he was not afforded that opportunity to live past 6 months. And prayers for his sister, who is now possibly 11, going on 12, somewhere in there. I pray that she's in good hands with somebody who can dedicate themselves wholly to her mentally and physically, because that child would not need to be in the care of a woman who was suicidal, homicidal, suffering from postpartum. It'd be only a matter of time she would harm her 9-year-old. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Thank you all so much for joining me. I'm gonna check out of here because I'm going to get out for the evening and enjoy myself. And I hope you all will get out and enjoy the weather as well. Prayers for all these places with extreme heat. Texas, I hear they're having an issue with their grids being pushed to the limit. So we're going to pray for them because you do know they had a really bad situation that happened back this past winter when the weather got cold and people were without heat, power. So we're going to pray that they won't go without air conditioning this summer. Thank you all for joining me. Thank the mods on deck. Thank you for watching, sharing, liking. I really appreciate it. All the new subscribers, welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you for hanging in there with me, those who have followed my content from the past 2 years and thus far. God bless all of you. Oh, thank you, Emily J. And thank you for joining us, sweetheart. I really appreciate you following. When I get more information pertaining to Chantae, I will bring you the said information. She does attend court on the 2nd of September. We will see what happens in that court proceeding. When I get more information to the other stories I'm bringing to you, I will bring you that said information. And naturally, when I get something else pertaining to Summer Wells, I will bring you the said information. I have not gone in to look for anything today because I had other business I had to take care of. So my mind was on personal business. But naturally, I'm sure there's something in the queue. I just have not yet went in to see anything. And frankly, it's daunting talking about this child. But it is what it is. Thank you all for joining me. Please stay. Yeah, well, Emily J, I kind of figured that. I think the girl was her top choice. I think this is more of an issue of a baby daddy issue. I'm not saying she doesn't have a postpartum because I don't know her, but I got a feeling the baby daddy is probably has a lot to do with her emotional state at the time of her leaving that baby in the car. I won't doubt it. It's probably a combination of both. But hopefully, if he's the father of the little girl, he's doing right by that child. Because as I state, I don't even know if the children have the same father or not. Yes, everybody stay cool and hydrated. Yes, amen. That is the truth. Thank you all for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. You all stay safe. Have a blessed weekend. I will be back later on, maybe tomorrow, with more commentary. And you all stay safe out there. Yes, enjoy your weekend. God bless all of you. This is Everyday Shenanigans.